Is Earth safe in the silent universe? If we were to observe Earth from outside the solar system, you would find that Earth is not a hidden sanctuary at all, but a lighthouse frantically broadcasting signals outwards. And this lighthouse has been flashing undisguised for billions of years. Moreover, any keen observer in the solar system would render all our disguises ineffective. Imagine if, at this very moment, in a star system 1,000 light-years away, an observation device with 1,000 times the precision of our James Webb telescope were monitoring Earth. They wouldn't just see a faint blue, they would see the wireless signals emitted by our various devices. Everything that exists in this universe inevitably interacts with its surroundings, thus leaking information. This is the universe's biggest cruel truth. Passive invisibility is impossible in the face of advanced civilization's detection technology. As long as you exist, you will be observed. Today, we will discuss the 3 cosmic surveillance mechanisms that may have already pinpointed our coordinates. To understand how an alien civilization might discover us, we must first look at how we discover them. The most common technique used by astronomers is called the transit method. The principle is very simple. Imagine you are staring at a searchlight several kilometers away. Suddenly, a mosquito flies across the lamp, and you notice a minuscule drop in brightness, perhaps a change of only 1 part in 10,000. But this is enough for sensitive detectors. Similarly, Earth constantly orbits the Sun. For an extraterrestrial observer situated along the extension of Earth's orbital plane, Earth passes in front of the Sun once every 365 days, obscuring an infinitesimally small part of its light. An astronomer from another civilization wouldn't need any warp speed technology, just a slightly advanced optical telescope and a few years of continuous observation of the Sun. They could then calculate Earth's orbital period, distance, and even infer its size and mass with certainty. On their star map, the solar system would no longer be unknown, but a precise coordinate marked with detailed information. This geometrical inevitability means we send a physical "we are here" signal every single year. When you breathe, you are inhaling a gas that is extremely destructive on a cosmic scale: oxygen. Oxygen is a highly reactive element. It tends to react with almost everything, such as rusting iron or fueling combustion. In a normal geological environment, free-floating oxygen would be consumed and depleted very quickly, turning into oxides. So, if an alien astronomer analyzes a planet's atmospheric spectrum and finds a high concentration of oxygen alongside methane, it would be as astonishing to them as seeing smoke rising in the desolate desert. Only one force can continuously replenish oxygen into the atmosphere while nature constantly consumes it: life, specifically photosynthesis. When sunlight passes through the edge of Earth's atmosphere, the chemical components absorb specific wavelengths of light, leaving black bar codes on the rainbow spectrum. This is the spectral fingerprint. For any civilization with spectral analysis technology, the 21% oxygen content in Earth's atmosphere is a giant neon billboard that has been flashing for over 2 billion years, reading, "Life is here." The universe holds a massive trap, the limitation of the speed of light, which means observers might see a version of us that is completely different from reality. While light travels fast in a vacuum, it is snail-paced in the vastness of space. This means that if an alien civilization is 100 light-years away, they are indeed seeing Earth, but it's the Earth around the end of World War II. They can detect the first batch of industrial pollutants we released into the atmosphere. If they are 65 million light-years away, say, in a corner of the Virgo cluster, then through their super telescopes, they would not see skyscrapers but T-Rexes being hit by an asteroid. If they are even further, 2 billion light-years away, in their view, Earth would have just gone through the Great Oxidation Event, still a primordial world full of single-celled organisms. This suggests that other civilizations in the universe may have seen Earth and deemed it habitable, but merely classified it as a potentially primitive biological planet, tagged it with a low-priority label, and continued searching for civilizations that were more threatening or offered better prospects for communication. We may have been discovered long ago, but in their database, we are classified as a group of bacteria or some low-level reptile incapable of interstellar travel. This overlooked status might be the fundamental reason why we are still safe. Beyond passively reflecting light, for the past century, humanity has acted like a newborn, actively shouting into the cosmos. Since Marconi invented the radio, and especially with the popularization of television and radar, Earth has become a planet constantly emitting electromagnetic waves in all directions. Let's imagine the scene. Centered on Earth, a massive radio bubble, expanding at the speed of light, is diffusing into the depths of the galaxy. The radius of this bubble is currently about 100 light-years, encompassing thousands of star systems. At the very edge of this bubble is Hitler's opening speech at the 1936 Berlin Olympics. Slightly closer is the first episode of the sitcom I Love Lucy. And further in are the warning radar pulses furiously tested by the US and the USSR outside the atmosphere during the Cold War. Although these signals rapidly decay according to the inverse square law, eventually merging with the noise of cosmic background radiation, for a Type II civilization capable of building a Dyson sphere or possessing super-strong signal processing technology, extracting these highly regular modulated signals from the noise is not difficult. Even if they don't understand English or Russian, the mathematical regularities embedded in these signals, such as carrier frequency and pulse intervals, unambiguously indicate this is not a pulsar, nor a quasar. This is an artifact manufactured by intelligent life. This inadvertently leaked chronicle of human civilization might be being used by an alien listener as daily entertainment or war intelligence. Compared to passively waiting for light or radio signals, a truly advanced civilization would adopt a more proactive approach, sending out probes. But they wouldn't need to personally pilot spacecraft across the vast universe. They would only need to create self-replicating machines, known as von Neumann probes. The logic of these probes is terrifyingly efficient. Launch one probe to a nearby star system. Upon arrival, it uses local resources from asteroids or moons to manufacture 2 new probes according to a preset program. These 2 probes then fly to the next set of targets and replicate again. This is an exponential growth process. 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, and so on. Mathematical models show that even if the probes only travel at 1/10 the speed of light, and even if the replication process takes a few hundred years, this exponential growth would allow them to thoroughly populate the entire Milky Way in just 10 million years. 10 million years is a long time for humans, but it's the blink of an eye for a galaxy 10 billion years old. This leads to a chilling deduction. If any technological civilization that predates us by 10 million years has ever arisen in the Milky Way and had the intention to explore the universe, their nanoprobes should now be ubiquitous in every star system, including our solar system. Perhaps in our asteroid belt, or in a crater on the far side of the moon, a dormant surveillance monitor is lurking, set by a program millions of years ago, silently recording every movement on Earth, awaiting a wake-up command. Given the possibility of this kind of systematic search, why haven't we seen them? This leads to one of the most famous explanations, the zoo hypothesis. This theory suggests that alien civilizations discovered us long ago, perhaps even establishing some kind of containment field or observation post around this system. But they strictly adhere to a law similar to the Prime Directive in Star Trek, which prohibits interference with developing lower civilizations. Imagine when we humans study a pride of lions on the African savanna. We try to disguise ourselves as bushes or rocks, or observe from a distance in a jeep using a telephoto lens. We don't walk over and teach the lions how to use a lighter or explain democracy to them, because that would disrupt their natural evolutionary process and could even lead to ecological collapse. In the eyes of a higher civilization, humanity might be in a very sensitive, natural evolution period. We possess nuclear weapons, but are still fighting amongst ourselves over skin color and resources. We are full of uncertainty and violent tendencies. Therefore, they choose to observe us from behind a one-way mirror, to see if we will self-destruct or ultimately evolve into a rational, interstellar species. This silence is not because no one is out there, but because we have been quarantined. The entire solar system might be a huge nature preserve, or perhaps a laboratory. Let's change our perspective. If aliens aren't looking for life, but for industry, then our exposure might be even more complete. In nature, certain compounds cannot exist stably for a long time unless industrial activity is constantly manufacturing them. For example, chlorofluorocarbons, CFCs, commonly known as freon, are a class of synthetic organic compounds composed of carbon, chlorine, and fluorine atoms. This substance is almost non-existent in nature. It is a man-made chemical invented by humans over the past century for refrigeration and aerosols. If an alien astronomer detects the absorption line of CFCs in Earth's spectrum, it doesn't just mean there is life. It means there are intelligent beings capable of industrial synthesis. Furthermore, if we use solar energy on a massive scale in the future, the large areas of solar panels covering the surface will alter Earth's albedo, creating a specific metallic reflective characteristic. If we deploy massive satellite constellations in orbit, the sunlight reflected by these satellites at specific angles will also form some kind of unnatural flashing sequence. This industrial signature is more dangerous than a simple biosignature because it directly exposes our level of technology. For hunter civilizations looking for potential competitors or threats, detecting oxygen might just mean discovering a bug, but detecting freon means finding a child holding a torch. This distinction could decide whether they continue observing or press the purge button. If we combine the above exposures with the dark forest theory, everything becomes intensely chilling. In this theoretical model, the universe is a dark forest, and every civilization is a hunter with a gun. Since it's impossible to judge whether the other party is benevolent or malicious, and impossible to judge their technological explosion speed, the optimal survival strategy is to eliminate the other party the moment they are discovered. Under this logic, there are several disturbing reasons why the civilizations that have already discovered us haven't acted. First, they might be incredibly powerful, so powerful that they view humans as ants on the side of the road. You don't deliberately step on an ant unless it crawls onto your lunch. Second, they might be assessing the cost versus the benefit of an attack. After all, launching an interstellar strike requires enormous energy. Third, and most frighteningly, they are hiding themselves because they know there are even more terrifying predators above them patrolling. If Earth is a little bird loudly singing in the forest, the only reason nearby lions don't eat the bird is because the sound would attract a hunter with a gun. Their silence is not to protect us, but to protect themselves. Behind this deadly stillness is a standoff of countless muzzles aimed in the dark. After discussing all these technical possibilities, we must finally confront a massive philosophical paradox. On the one hand, we deeply crave finding alien civilizations because of humanity's deepest fear of loneliness. We are afraid that we are the only ones guarding this small rock in the vast universe. We yearn for communication, knowledge, and to know that we are not alone. But on the other hand, if it were truly confirmed that we are being monitored, this knowledge would completely destroy our sense of security. We would no longer be the masters of the universe, or even the masters of our own destiny, but merely an observed sample, a quarantined group. As the science fiction writer Arthur C. Clarke said, two possibilities exist. Either we are alone in the universe, or we are not. Both are equally terrifying. If discovered, we are lambs to the slaughter. If not discovered, we are the only watchmen in a deadly ruin. Perhaps this feeling of being watched, this reverence and fear of the deep sky, is precisely the driving force that pushes humanity to constantly progress and explore outwards. In seeking them, we are actually seeking the coordinates and meaning of our own existence.